Hi everyone, today we continue what we started last week, going over each fighter from Hyper Juken's first set, the new challenges, and how to effectively use them out of the box so that you have a head start in your first experiences playing the game. Today we look at the blue fighter, Eterno the Vampire Bat. Like Lucy last week, Eterno is great for people just starting Hyper Juken or want a more instinctive experience. Where Lucy is an aggressive deck, looking to hit the ground running, Eterno provides a more balanced playstyle, where you can pace yourself. Eterno isn't looking to win a fight with ruthless aggression. Rather, when playing Eterno, it's much more about combining attacks with healing, and through that, eventually winning the war of attrition. This starts with Eterno himself, and his ability to give his level 1 plus attacks hit heal 1. Might not seem like much on face value, but Eterno is packing a lot of cards that synergize with this effect. This starts with Eterno's signature tactic, the Undying Hero. As either act or setup, heal 2, and if you have a copy of the Undying Hero in play, as a buff, draw 1. But the real benefit comes from the buff side. Whenever you heal a specific value, or target an amount of cards in your exhaust to heal, increase that value by 1. So not only do additional copies of the Undying Hero become heal 3 draw 1, but Eterno's effect itself becomes hit heal 2, which is a considerable difference when talking about survivability, especially against characters with red in their corner who are much more likely to have a very aggressive play pattern and not block so much. The Undying Hero is also supported by one of Eterno's 2 Carter cards, Adaptive Form 1. During your prepare phase, if you have no buffs in play, you can just grab the Undying Hero from your arsenal and place it into play as a buff. This essentially means you are packing the Undying Hero as a Carter card, but even if your opponent neutralizes it, you can just grab another, and with the ability to heal, you can heal additional copies of the Undying Hero that hit your exhaust. Your other Carter synergizes directly with healing, and that would be Rejuvenation Form 1. Whenever you heal, raise your Hyper 1. Now this is any amount of healing, not per card, but all your level 1 plus attacks have hit heal 1, or 2 with the Undying Hero, and you have a few other independent heals here and there. With Rejuvenation Form 1, you're more than likely to have a stream of Hyper, rather than a dollop, or alternatively, due to synergistic effects, have it set off multiple times in a row. Speaking of streams of Hyper, this will usually come in the form of Light Life Kick and Delayed Backhand Chop. Light Life Kick raises your Hyper 1 when it is healed, so with Rejuvenation Form 1, you will get 2 Hyper, while Delayed Backhand Chop will heal itself when it is sent to your exhaust to pay the key cost of an attack, giving you 1 Hyper and +1 to your arsenal. These cards may not do anything by themselves, but they are your best general use level 0 attacks and are worth performing just to get them into your key pool and amass key. So let's move to your cards that will heal from just their use, starting with a strong attack that gains so much from Eterno himself, Forceful Ki Blast. Forceful Ki Blast has 2 effects, attack and hit for heal 1, but that's 2 thanks to the Undying Hero, and actually 2 instances of hit heal 2 thanks to Eterno. Most of the time it will be blocked. By blocking it, your opponent prevents 4 damage and you from healing 4, but the attack to heal 2 is actually really good in and of itself. Pay for Forceful Ki Blast with Light Life Kick, you gain a further 1 Hyper when you use that attack heal 2, or with Delayed Backhand Chop, you heal the chop, then heal 2, gaining the same amount of Hyper from Rejuvenation Form 1, but also gain 3 cards to your arsenal. Incredibly potent card and your main powerhouse. Then we have Unfazed Catch, a block that lowers your opponent's Hyper 1 and heals you 1 when used, or heal 2 with the Undying Hero. This stifles your opponent's momentum in several ways. Not only are you keeping them from max Hyper and blocking your attack, but increasing your survivability. Just a note here, chip damage happens the moment the attack is blocked, before BLK effects. Keep that in mind. The other main weapon in your arsenal is Resourceful Punch. Similar results to Forceful Ki Blast. On attack, raise your Hyper 1 and hit heal 1 from El Eterno, 2 from the Undying Hero, but has an additional effect that will help you craft your hand and keep up a decent pace. Should you heal it, you can discard a card to place it into your hand. Now this replaces and interrupts the heal, so if you heal 2, and this is on top of your exhaust, you would go to heal the top 2 cards, discard 1 to place Resourceful Punch into your hand, then heal the card you discarded. Something that also has nice, albeit rare, synergy with Light Life Kick. The real cool application here is with set Undying Hero cards. Discard 1 to heal 3. You'll heal the card you discarded, but if Resourceful Punch is in your top 2 prior to healing and you still have a card in hand, you can grab it, then draw from Undying Hero, resulting in filtering 2 cards from your hand. Next up we have the Control Package, Backsweep Kick and the Equalizer. Both have the same effect to neutralize one of your opponent's non-debuff cards in play. But for Backsweep Kick, it's a hit effect, while for the Equalizer, it's an attack effect. These cards have a very specific application, and I've already slightly touched on it throughout this video. Backsweep Kick is obviously not something you go in guns blazing with. You'll want either of the other 2 level 0 attacks to generate ki. It's a case of when it'll actually do something. When your opponent has something in play and you really want to get rid of it. It may be blocked, but that's not a bad thing, it's still draining a block and generated you ki. This is where we get to the Equalizer. EXL Eterno, especially without red to ramp his ki, generally isn't the best at launching level 2 attacks, which the Equalizer is. Now, if you have drained a block via Backsweep Kick, it's going to be 6 damage unless some is prevented, which is a good amount and worth the -1 to your ki. But generally speaking, you will always want to be at 4 ki minimum before you launch the Equalizer. 4 ki actually takes a while to amass because as soon as you have 1 ki, you can start using both of your level 1 attacks to get the most out of El Eterno. There really isn't much benefit to going ham with the level 0 attacks, rather you should be using them gradually to build up ki. Should Backsweep Kick do its job, that's where you really don't need the Equalizer. This is why you should be setting additional copies of the Undying Hero to use as hand filter. Discard the Equalizer, heal 3, draw 1. Hopefully get something better like a level 1 attack. The Equalizer is something to be used sparingly. If it's late game and you've amassed 4+ ki, not a big deal, but early game it's not beneficial. You don't want to be in a position where you don't have 3 ki for your hyper attack. Speaking of that hyper attack, Flying Vampiric Dive is El Eterno's, and likely to be used at least once a fight. While you have a stream of ki, you aren't drowning in it like Burst Lucy is. Flying Vampiric Dive has precision, something that will become much more relevant later, but should you have 3 blue ki in your ki pool, it costs 3 ki to block. This is why ki management is so very important. You need to maintain it to have Flying Vampiric Dive have full impact. You want your opponent to either destroy their own momentum by blocking it, making the choice to not block it, or be completely unable to block it. It might not result in full 9 damage due to breaker cards, but it should be a significant dent in them, or at the very least, clear out breakers. Depending on when you launch it, it might even end the game. El Eterno is interesting compared to his set mates in that his ideal hand has a lot of space for variance. You do need to remember that during your first turn, you need to use Adaptive Form 1, but all you really need is a source of ki, a decent attack, and some blocks. You just want to establish yourself with ki, block what you have to, and retaliate with level 1 attacks. Try to get them to make contact so you can heal. Use those level 0 attacks to form synergistic plays. I would even go as far as saying you don't really even have an ideal opening hand turn 1. You have 2 quality options for level 0. Level 1 really doesn't matter. Never feel forced into initiating combat. Only do it when you have a hand where it'd be advantageous to do so. And just in general, pace yourself. With blue, it's never a sprint, but a marathon. Your plan is to outlast your opponent, not destroy them. Also to note on breaker cards, you can heal them. Just because you see them as damage doesn't mean you should use them. When one is revealed as damage, weigh up whether it's worth your time to use it. If it's not, you can heal it for later. Same goes for drawing into them. You can use them and heal them, unlike red and yellow who don't have that option. If you liked today's video, remember to like, share and subscribe. It helps Juken grow. Check out SavageShizuGames.com to find all of Juken's cards so far and how to play. Don't forget to come back next week for the last video in this series, EX Yellow Taichi's Primer. Till next time friends, thanks for watching.